Jim Daly from, nearly forgot my own name, from Jim and Jay's Final Say Crystal Palace post-match interview, not an interview, reaction video things. It is Monday morning. Apologies, this video is late. I forgot to do my video yesterday. I'm sure I think Jay had his in the can and I forgot. So it's Monday. That's given me a bit of time to reflect on Palace's win at Stoke at the weekend, which I think we can all agree was a massive result. Another massive result for Palace. In the last few weeks, we certainly seem to be just getting the results that we need to, beating the teams that we should. The QPRs, and challenging those above us like Stoke. It feels like we're really sort of pushing the envelope a bit now, and not just being a team battling for relegation, but a team that is really pushing for mid-table, up to 11th now, which is obviously where we finished last season, above Newcastle, who of course forced Alan Pardew out last year, and of course then he came to Palace, and is proving that actually. He might be quite a good manager, as it turns out. So I think there'll be a lot of Newcastle fans rather confused right now. But there you go. It was a good result for Palace. Not necessarily the best performance over the course of the game. I don't think anyone was really complaining when Stoke took the lead. Palace all started brightly, but Stoke definitely came into it. And when they scored through Diouf, they were pretty much on top. I thought the goal was offside when I first saw it, but watching a replay, it wasn't. Not because of when Austin took the free kick, because Diouf was onside then. I thought it took a deflection off a Stoke guy on the way through, but actually you can see the Stoke lad sort of jumps over it like that, and it goes through his legs. I think it hits Delaney on the way through. So Diouf is definitely onside. It's a very nice finish. If you watch the replay, Yala probably should do better. He sort of Diouf is his man, and he sort of lets him run without really tracking him. So maybe he could do better on that one. But what's nice about this Palace team is, and there's shades of Pulis here, they just don't give up. Even when they go a goal behind, they just think, oh, okay, right, here we go, let's crack on. Regardless of how they're playing, even if they're not particularly playing that well. And that was a classic example yesterday. And in fact, that's now 18 points from losing positions this season. Which is the most in the Premier League of any team. So there you go, we're top of the table for something, which is brilliant. And actually, if you're going to be top of the table for anything, coming from behind, from losing positions to win is a brilliant one, because it makes for entertaining football. And I think right now we can't complain about how good it is to watch Palace at the moment. So those goals were good, coming back to win 2-1. The penalty for the foul on Yala, it's a real weird one, because yes, Balassi's foot is high, and yes, anywhere else on the pitch that would probably be a free kick against him, but weirdly the ref's given it, and at real-time speed I wouldn't have given it if I was a referee. I don't think it would have been a penalty, and I can see why Stoke were upset. If that had been against Palace, I'd be very upset. But if you watch the replay, Begovic actually is incredibly clumsy and makes a very silly challenge. When he realises he's not going to get the ball and that Yara's got there first, he definitely barges into him. So again, arguably elsewhere on the pitch, would have that been a foul the other way? So it's a tough one. What's interesting is that the referees managed to spot that at such speed. So I guess you say good decision. I actually think watching the replay back here, it was a penalty, but I can see why it wouldn't have been given, and I can see why Stoke fans might be a little bit annoyed, because it was a high foot from Yala, but he does win the ball. He is fouled by Begovic, and it is in the area. So there you go. What isn't in dispute is Murray's penalty, which was absolutely brilliant. I watched Match of Day 2 last night, and the commentator, when Murray dispatched it, just goes, wow! Which I think is quite right. It was an absolutely brilliant penalty. One that Palace needed to score at that point in the game, and Murray made absolutely sure. And again, it's good to see Murray score. That's 4 goals in 4 games now. Plus he got an assist for Wolf's goal. He's making it very difficult for Pardew to ignore him and leave him out. And all this talk of a new striker, and I'm sure we will be looking at people in the summer, but Murray's making it very difficult to overlook him for that role up top. He knows how to play it. He's played it before for Palace in the Championship. He knows how to play with Balassi and Zaha, and in the last few weeks they've all been linking up brilliantly. So maybe Glenn's the man. He's getting on a bit. I think he's 31, 32 now. So he won't be here forever, but maybe for the rest of the season and start next season, maybe he's the guy, and we give him that shot at the Premier League, a regular run in the team, in the top flight that he deserves, really, from his goal scoring form in the Championship. We went up, so that was wonderful. And the winner, as it turned out, just before half time, was a classic Stoke goal. A classic Stoke goal of years gone by. They actually do play better football now, but we sort of out-Stoked Stoke with that goal. Long ball from Jules. And Murray with a brilliant flick on, and he just knew that Wilf was going to be there. I think, again, it goes back to that relationship that he has with Wilf and Balassi. He just sort of knows. You look at that dummy against QPR where he let it run through his legs because he knew that Zaha would be there. They have a connection, and that's why it's working so well at the moment up top. And lovely to see Wilf score. Having had a bit of a difficult half, he's sort of been riled up by Peters. But what was interesting was that because he'd got booked for a foul for reacting to Peters, and then a few minutes later he drew a foul from Peters, and the Stoke man got a yellow, which meant that when Wilf broke through from that flick on from Murray, you see Peters almost, he thinks, should I block him? Should I go in, use my arm to block him? And he pulls out of the way, because had he done that, second yellow, red card. And it allows Wilf to go through and score. So it's an indication that actually, even if you're not having a great game as a winger like Zaha, if you pester them and draw fouls from them, you will get opportunities later on in the match. So lovely to see Wilf score. He's on a rich run of form as well right now. And he's another one that we want to see do really well back at Palace. So, good to see two of our 2013 heroes scoring goals and winning games for Palace. So there you go. That's my thoughts on the Stoke game, which leaves us on 36 points now, which, I think even the most pessimistic of Palace fans would find it hard to deny that we're pretty much safe. It would have to be a monumental implosion from Palace. Although this is Palace. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more of these, and comment below with your thoughts on the Stoke game. Here's Jay from the Eagles Beak with his thoughts on our win at Britannia. And it's an international break this week, so I won't see you next weekend. But after that, we've got Man City at home. So we'll see you after that. Cheers, goodbye.
Hey guys, welcome back to our latest video. We're looking back at the game yesterday against Stoke City, a trip to the Britannia Stadium, which is always a tough place to go. Windy ground, but the Palace faithful, I think it was just under 3,000, went up to Stoke, to the Potteries, and made great noise, which is obviously the first point I wanted to touch on. Palace fans are renowned for making noise, particularly at away games, and we get a lot of plaudits for that, which is fantastic. So first things first, the fans doing what they do best is really helps the team, and I'm sure Pardew and the players really appreciate that. But onto the game, the only change for the first the starting lineup was Soiree came in for Kelly, and I think that was a good idea because Kelly's a little bit static at left back. He's not a natural left back, although he does have a bit of height and perhaps a little bit more know-how than Soiree does in the Premier League, particularly. But I think Pardew chose a team which could attack Stoke at pace, really, and Soiree has a bit of pace, and that proved to be the case because we started with Zaha and Punchin, who were both doubts before the game. It was great to start with a very similar lineup to what we did against QPR, because that was a great result, and something to move on to from that and build on that performance. While Soiree came in and played particularly well, actually, he did impress me in parts of the game, although it was a very shrewd move by Pardew to take him off and bring Kelly on because of the second half onslaught that Stoke were throwing balls into the box, and they're quite a big tough side. But regardless, we played them well, actually. I mean, the first half was we went 1 goal down, which question about it being offside. I haven't seen the replays as yet. A goal by Diouf after a shot or free kick effort from Charlie Adam, which is quite a distance out. I'm not sure if it caught a Palace player on the way through, but it fell to Diouf and he slotted past Brown, who didn't really have a chance. So I think that was after a quarter of an hour. But we responded well. I don't think Stoke had many particular chances in the first half. Although Sproney made, I think, 1 save in the first half, which, throughout the game he made 4 or 5 great saves, which kept us in the game. And a lot of fans have criticised him recently. Even I've questioned some of the decision making he's had in games and has conceded goals. But I think he proved to us all yesterday that he is the number one for Palace. You know, he is first choice, and some of the saves he made. I mean, he kept us in the game yesterday after we, got the 2 goals right before half time. The first goal was a penalty, which I think it was a penalty. Really, I would have to question why, if it was given as a penalty. It was it was perhaps a soft penalty to concede, but there was a foul by a defender on Blassie who was running through before he went into the area. So I'm not sure what foul the referee gave the penalty for. It looked very much like the Begovic, impeded Blassie and he went down. But you have to wonder if that was the one that was given. Why wasn't Begovic given a red card? But we could talk about referees until we're blue in the face. But Murray stepped up, very confident penalty. Sent Begovic the wrong way and just off centre and scored the penalty, and it's what we expect from Murray, really. Scoring goals, I think that's his 4th in recent games, which is a good return for a player which perhaps many of us thought when he went on loan to Reading he would struggle to get back in the Palace side, and that's proved not to be the case. And he's performing well. He ran the lone fire out front again yesterday and performed really well. Hustled and harried the back line of Stoke, which they're not the most mobile back line, I must say, but he did what he does best and what we expect of him. To go 2-1 up right before half time, it was a long ball. I mean, played Stoke at their own game. I'm not saying they're a complete long ball side, but it was a goal kick from Sprony, flick on from Murray into Zaha, and who used his pace and slotted the ball past Begovic, and it was to go in 2-1 at half time, perhaps not quite deserved on the balance of play, but we'll take that. It's you've got to put away your chances in the game, and that's exactly what we did in the first half. Second half, we could have quite easily gone 3-1 up. Punchin had a great effort. I expect it to be bottom corner, and he skied it when it looked harder to do that than it was to get an effort on target. But Blassie played really well. He had an effort, a couple of efforts, a couple of runs through the back line. Really, they looked pretty scared of him. And I actually had a chat to a Stoke fan before, during the week before the game, and he said that their concern is playing teams that have pace, and that's what Palace have with Zaha, and we have Blassie, and Punchin has a turn of pace as well once he gets hold of the ball, and obviously Gal from the bench as well. So I think the onslaught came during the second half, which we perhaps expected from a big side like they are. But Sprony, like I mentioned, had a few great saves, and the back line stood up well. Delaney and Dan in the centre were excellent once again. Joel Ward at right back, and I mentioned Soiree already. That he I think that's probably the best game he's had in a Palace shirt, but sensibly substituted after a booking, and I think it's more because of the height that Kelly could add to the team than perhaps Suarez's performance. But across the middle, I think this is one game, although we won the game, it's one game that I think we missed Jedinak in the middle for his height against Stoke. They're a big side, particularly at the back and in the middle, and obviously Crouch up front, but Nzonzi in the middle. I think we perhaps conceded a little bit in midfield, but we got another 3 points away from home. And it's becoming expected that we go away from home and get 3 points now. For me, before the QPR game, I said 2 more wins and we'd be safe. And to be fair, that looks like being the case. So fantastic win away from home again. And for me, we should, as Palace fans, I know it's not something we're used to, but we should be looking up rather than down now. We have a real chance now of finishing in the top 10 in the Premier League, which would be a real achievement. I think start of season, many of us said 17th would be perfect position for us to finish. But I really do believe we've got a chance of finishing top 10, and what a season that that could turn out to be for us. So onwards and upwards, Palace fans very happy at the moment, and we'll move on to, well, we've got the international break now, which is a deserved break for the players, for the ones that aren't travelling for their countries. So hopefully we'll see them return back safely. We could have a few faces return, particularly Shamak might be back, and I think Jedinak has one more game to miss. So next game is welcoming Man City to Selhurst on Bank Holiday Monday. So we'll be back after that game with another video with our thoughts. So hope you enjoy these videos. Leave your comments for Palace Fan TV underneath this video, or for any of us on Twitter. You can catch us on there. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers.